Well, howdy there, Internet people. It's Bo again. So today we are going to talk about whether or not the U.S. or NATO should get directly involved in Ukraine. Because I said something in a recent video, and I said that we may look back on Mariupol as the point where the West should have known that, hey, this is when we should have got involved. And people have asked if that has changed my math. Because I'm a long time supporter of the idea of no, we need to give them the tools to do it themselves. And because of that statement, people have kind of questioned whether or not I believe we should go in. No, I don't. I haven't changed on that. I haven't shifted on that. Now, to be clear, there are really good analysts, and I'm not talking about the ones on TV. And when I say that, now it sounds like every analyst on TV is bad. People who are good analysts, who are speaking privately, who have no motive to say something to get airtime, who believe we should move in. I'm not there yet. It's risk versus reward and what's best for Ukraine, right? Those are the things that should matter. The risk of the U.S. moving in is it escalating into a lot of bad stuff, okay? The reward is that it ends sooner. The reward for the West is that if the West moves in and helps Ukraine on the ground, there's going to be strings, and they're going to be thick strings. However, risk versus reward, I am one of those people, and this has a lot to do with people's positions on this. I believe Ukraine can win. I think they're in a position right now where they stand a really good chance of being able to win on their own. They just need the tools. So the current idea of giving them the tools necessary, that's the better option because it's lower risk and it's better for Ukraine. They don't end up with those thick strings at the end. And it cements them. People refer to the War of 1812 as the Second American Revolution. And it's not because kind of the same combatants, it's because it's what cemented the United States as a real country, as a power. If Ukraine can do this on their own, they become that power. And understand Ukraine is a country that could be a major power. It's never going to be China or the United States, but it could easily become Germany or the United Kingdom or India. It could become a major power in the world. But for that to happen and for the people of Ukraine to benefit from it, they have to do this on their own. Because if NATO comes in and does it, well, you're kind of under our auspices now. And they'll never achieve what they could achieve. I don't think at this moment that it warrants NATO intervention directly. However, that math changes. It's a war. It's a fluid. It's a dynamic situation. And if things go another way, if Russia escalates, if Russia becomes more brutal, then that math changes. But at this moment, I don't think so. Because I truly believe Ukraine's got a really good shot. It's not a certainty. It's war. There's nothing certain in war. But if they have the will, then it's going to be hard for them to lose. Things would have to the tides would really have to shift for Ukraine to actually lose this. So it's lower risk and it's better for the people there. Now, if that math changes, or if Ukraine is like, we don't have the will to do this, we're going to have to give up if we don't get help, then it shifts all of that. But at this moment, I think that they can pull it off. And I think it's lower risk for the rest of the world. It's lower risk for Ukraine. Because understand, if NATO and the U.S. go in, if the West in general puts in troops and Russia responds by escalating, it's going to be in Ukraine. They're bearing the risk. So I'm of the opinion that they can do it. If the West gives them the tools, they can do it. And they'll come out a lot stronger. They'll come out a powerful nation. At the same time, if the people in Ukraine really come to that point where they're like, we can't do it, then yeah, then maybe at that point it's time for NATO to step in. But if I had my pick, I would want Ukraine to come out of this as strong and as independent as possible. And for them to do that, it takes them going through this, which is horrible. But wars are typically the things that make nations, that make them powerful. If they come out of this on the other side, and they did it on their own, they will be one of the major powers in Europe pretty quickly. As they rebuild, that economy gets going again, they're going to be a force to be reckoned with. So, at the same time, I feel the need to point out again, there are really smart people who say, no, it's time. I just disagree. I don't like the idea of NATO getting involved directly. But anyway, it's just a thought. Y'all have a good day.